All right, SwampFox up here. Been a little while. Going to talk briefly about the Liberty 2 by SwampFox. Making this video because I really haven't seen anybody else talk about it much, at least not in a review setting. So, if you get this optic, it comes with all the screws you need. It's an RMR footprint. Basically, the RMR footprint won the wars for pistol red dots. And so I knew the writing was on the wall. Said, all right. And I did not like the Sightmark Gen 2 that I got because it sucks. It's now on an airsoft pistol, which is working out great there on an airsoft pistol. But this guy, I've had for a couple months now, has really held up, taken the abuse. I've racked it a bunch off of everything I can. Check the screws, all that kind of jazz. One thing about the screws is you really got to be careful which screws you put in. It comes with a pamphlet that says what screws put in, but if you don't put the right screws in here, well, guess what? The sight will loosen up on you. Because actually at first I thought, hey, I was getting a zero shift. I'm like, that's not cool, man. Because I would punch out and be like, hey, all right, wait, my sights are off. And because the slide came with these sights. I bought a dagger slide, just a slide, because I took the barrel and spring out of my other gun and just threw it in this slide. So now I probably have like 3 different serial numbers on this gun. Actually, no, this is the original Glock serial number. I forget. This is a Gen 3 spring, so it has to be a whole different spring then. But back to this point of this, I thought I was getting zero shift. Turns out I had chosen the wrong screw. So if you are going to mount this to a RMR cut slide, really check your screws that you've got more than just like one thread in. Because once I swapped out screws, there was no shift at all. And I noticed as I shot it and as I started to rack it, I checked it one day and I was like, oh no, this is loose. So that's my issue. I wasn't getting zero shift. I was getting loose connection from the optic to the slide. But now that I put the right screws in, I'm good. Because no amount of Loctite will save you if you don't have the right screw length. If you've got one thread into the slide, it doesn't matter how much Loctite you put on there. I mean, I guess maybe it's red Loctite, but you'll probably still get some wiggle. But overall, really good setup. The shake awake feature, whatever the crap they're calling it, works really well. As soon as you pick up the gun, it will come on. I have tested. I'll set it into a table, look at this, see that it's off, and then try to grab it as fast as I can before I can, and keeping my eye in the optic. And see when it comes on. I mean, by the time I get it this far off the table, I mean, just that, the optic comes on. And so it's been really, really good. No issues at all. Hold zero. The brightness levels are there. I don't care how straight in the sun you're shooting, you're going to be able to see this. Can't really complain about anything. I mean, there is... For me, because I came from that Sightmark, which had a shorter height to the optic, I'm sure this is about the same size and height as an RMR. I'm guessing. I've never shot an RMR. Well, I mean, I shot through an RMR on top of a Trichicon ACOG a decade and a half ago or something like that, before it was even really popular to put it on pistols. No, I think at some range I did shoot an RMR, or I shot some red dot on a pistol. And I think the one thing I would change about this setup specifically is I'm going to, at some point, take off these iron sights, because you independently zero your irons from your red dot. So your irons are going to be pretty well on. But when you can zero your red dot, you can be even more precise. And with that little extra precision I can get with the red dot, I can see that my irons are just a hair off to the right. Like, I know my dot's perfectly good, but it kind of messes with my brain a little bit when I look through and I see the lower 4th, and the irons are there, and they're not perfectly lined up. But the dot I know is where my shot's going. I know that for sure. That gets a little weird, so I'll probably at some point tap these out. Because like I said before, just learn to tube shoot. With a pistol from 0 to 15 yards, if you can just put the window on your target, you'll probably be okay. You should be able to get good hits just doing that. If you need to put a little, indicator there as opposed to something blocking up your view down here, but I'd rather like put a little dot right here just to say, hey, line that up with some part of the target. But I have thoroughly enjoyed shooting this. It's been very durable. I've rocked it a lot, and you can see there's not a whole bunch of wear on the front end. And just show you the dot, very clear, it's right there. Let me hold this right here for a second. And it fades out really nicely. And it gets super bright. Like, I don't think I've gone that bright on it yet, but the dot works really well. Really well. I mean, I can't, there's a slight bluing to it, but when you're in the daytime, you really don't notice it. I mean, indoors with artificial light, yeah, you'll notice it a little bit, but not a major deal. Like, it's not a very heavy bluing tint. Outdoors, it disappears. It really does. So yeah, if you're looking to get the Liberty 2, obviously I have no sponsors, something like that, not that fancy, but I just wanted to, because I know nobody's really talking about it for whatever odd reason. I haven't found a lot of videos about it, but SwampFox Liberty 2, it's good to go. Great pistol, red dot, great pistol, red dot. So get out there, train, shoot your stuff. That way you know if your screws are loose and other things. Practice with it before crap gets worse.